I was saying Patrick Mahomes needs 430 passing yards to set the single-season NFL record. His passing yards prop is 322.5 at Caesars Sportsbook, so far short. The odds makers are predicting he will be more than 100 yards shy of setting the single-season passing yard record. His previous high for passing yards total this season as a prop was 307.5 versus Cincinnati. Now, here's the question.
Man, 430 is a lot.
It's a lot, man. It's too much.
Right.
But
have you seen the Raiders secondary?
Even if he gets
it's a lot, though.
Even if he gets it, does it count as the record? Now, let me just give you my opinion on this.
Because, wait, hold on a second, Mike. Because you're not going to keep him in the game to chase the record. Right,
because you got too much real stuff on the line. Yeah. But let's say even he got it. Somehow he wound up with, 431 passing yards, Key. He had an extra game to set the record. So the fact of the matter is he did have the most passing yards in a season. But without that extra game, because it's now 17 regular season games instead of 16, he wouldn't have done it.
Yeah, but it's still the record. Somebody else can break it the next year.
Right.
It's a different time.
You're right. I think it's two different records, in fact.
So does whoever had it 16 when it was 8 and when it was 10, it was 12?
14,
whatever, 14?
Yeah, I agree, Key. No, right, 12. I agree. It is the record because that's the bottom line is the most passing yards. But I do think the way I look at it in sports is they're all different records, right? Like even remember when Aaron Judge was hitting all the home runs, I wanted to see if he could hit his 61st in 154 games because he couldn't because Babe Ruth hit 60 in 154. I wanted to see him get it in that time,
Yeah, but that's not going to happen. I mean, it changes. It's just different eras, different everything. You look up in Patrick Mahomes is doing it in 17. Eventually, what if they grow the schedule to 18 games or 19 games?
Yep, there'll be new records. Yeah,
there'll be new records.
That stuff doesn't bother me.
No, not at all.
It feels like more like traditionalists, like, it's this record. I'm like, it's whatever. It's the record now.
Yeah, but somebody did it in a shorter span than the last person probably too, though. Yeah. You just got to go back and look.
Yeah, right. And I think of them all as their own records, right? Because part of the issue with the counting stuff is, like LeBron's going to break Kareem's scoring record, right? But was LeBron the scorer Kareem was? No, not in any given season. Not really. Kareem was a more fearsome scoring weapon in his day than LeBron is in his. But
really, I think that's hard to measure.
Well, Kareem was the leading scorer. Kareem was an
I get it, but I also see who Kareem
scorer.
was like. Yeah, I hear you. I think the caliber of athlete and.
Well, okay, but LeBron, you could argue LeBron's a better player if you want to, right? And I think most people
know. But I'm just not diminishing LeBron's ability.
No, it's not about diminishing. The point of records,
you naturally have to diminish somebody if you're trying to say one person's better.
The point of records, it's not diminishing. It's just adding to the other. The point of records is you're creating a hierarchy.
Yeah.
And part of the counting type of records, not the rate type of records, right? Like in baseball, be batting average versus hits, right? Mm-hmm. Is that availability is factored in.
Yeah, but I want the guy with the hits. I don't care about the batting average.
What's that?
I want the guy with the hits.
Well, because he's available. Because he's
the batting average don't mean anything to me because if you miss 50 games, your average you can still be high.
Well, that's true, but the value per game is also significant, right? It's not just, in other words, one measures how much you contributed overall, and the other measures how much you contributed when you were available.
Yeah, but I don't need when you are available. I need your ass to be available.
But if you could, there are some people who are more available than others, but not as good. I can show you examples.
You can't help me, Max, if you're never here.
No, but not if you're never. What if you're usually there, but not all the time? Versus a guy who's always there.
I don't need usual. No. I need you here with me.
Okay,
I don't need Anthony Davis.
LeBron James, misses usually about 10 games a year, something like that, right? Something like that on average.
But he's like an Iron
5 to 10.
That dude is different.
Okay, but I can show you.
He's only been missing 5 to 10 games recently, Max.
No, in his career, he didn't used to usually have 82 games a year or 80 games a year.
But he would play the majority of the time.
That's what I'm saying. So it doesn't have to be you never play or you always play. There are scenarios.
His never plays. His never plays wasn't serious injuries up until recently.
What I'm saying is There are Iron Men who play more games than LeBron, but weren't near. You'd rather have LeBron, right? Because his per game value is much higher. That's what I'm saying. So when you look at records like
Give me the
scoring,
Iron Man.
all right. Now I was going to try to make the point. You guys refused to let me make.
Don't say you guys haven't said anything. That's key.
Both of you.
He has
Don't
a point,
blame
though.
me,
Two.
Jay.
No, I was saying you have a
two
point,
of
though.
you.
I just
Fed
wanted
up.
to see him answer it.
Max is why is Max getting frustrated?
I don't know.
Out of everybody.
I don't know. Go figure.
What is this, 2023?
My New Year's resolution is to be frustrated by you two.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.